Many people give up on a kidney-friendly meal plan after just a few days because they don't notice immediate changes. They look at their plate and think, I'm eating healthier than before, so why don't I feel dramatically different yet? If you've had that thought, you're not alone. It's one of the most common frustrations I hear from adults over 50. The truth is, the problem isn't always that you're eating the wrong foods. Sometimes the missing piece is that another part of your body isn't ready to make the most of those healthy choices. After years of studying nutrition, I've learned that one of the most overlooked parts of kidney health isn't found in the kidneys themselves. It's found in your gut. Your digestive system is where every nutrient begins its journey. If your gut isn't functioning well, your body may not use the nourishing foods on your plate as efficiently as it could. That doesn't mean healthy meals aren't helping. It means they work best when the digestive system and the kidneys are supported together, not separately. Welcome back to our 7-day kidney meal plan. On day 5, we explored how building meals around anti-inflammatory foods can create a healthier environment for your heart and kidneys. Today, we're taking the next important step by focusing on something many kidney meal plans rarely discuss: how supporting your gut can help support your kidneys from the inside out. Throughout today's meals, I'll show you simple, everyday foods that nourish beneficial gut bacteria while still fitting into a practical kidney-friendly eating pattern. I'll also share easy recipes that don't require expensive ingredients or complicated cooking techniques, making them realistic for everyday life. And I encourage you to stay with me until the very end, because I'll be sharing several simple kitchen habits that can quietly improve your digestive health, tips that many people overlook, even when they're trying their best to eat well. If you're finding this series helpful, take a moment to subscribe so you won't miss our final day together. My goal isn't to help you follow a diet for 1 week. It's to help you understand simple principles you can use for years to come. Now let's discover why taking better care of your gut may be one of the smartest and most surprising ways to take better care of your kidneys. Why day 6 matters. Every day we've spent together has been building towards something much bigger than a 7-day meal plan, and I want to remind you what that bigger picture really is. Throughout this week, I've never promised that these meals would cure chronic kidney disease or magically lower creatinine in just a few days, because that's not how the body works. Instead, my goal has been to help you reduce processed foods, rely more on wholesome ingredients, choose higher quality proteins, cut back on unnecessary sodium, increase fiber naturally, and build eating habits that you can realistically maintain for years. When you repeat those small choices consistently, you begin creating a healthier internal environment where your heart, digestive system, blood vessels, and kidneys can all work together more efficiently. In my experience, lasting progress almost always comes from improving the environment inside the body rather than searching for one perfect food or one quick solution. One of my favorite ways to explain today's focus is to imagine the garden behind your home. If the soil is rich, healthy, and full of life, flowers, vegetables, and trees all have a much better chance to grow strong. But if the soil is dry and depleted, even regular watering can't help plants reach their full potential. I think your gut works in much the same way. Your beneficial gut bacteria are like the healthy soil in that garden. When they are well nourished, your body is better able to break down food, absorb valuable nutrients, and produce fewer waste products that may add unnecessary metabolic stress. That's exactly why day 6 shifts our attention from individual nutrients to the environment where those nutrients begin their journey. You'll notice that every meal today follows the same simple principle. Each one combines fiber-rich foods, lean protein, colorful vegetables, wholesome ingredients, and fermented foods when appropriate. Together, these foods help support healthier digestion, encourage a more balanced gut microbiome, promote steadier metabolism, and create conditions that may better support your kidneys over time. Let's begin with one of the easiest breakfasts you can make, and one that gives beneficial gut bacteria something they truly enjoy. 1. The morning meal that starts nourishing your gut before your kidneys. One of the biggest myths I hear is that every dairy product should automatically disappear from a kidney-friendly meal plan. I don't believe nutrition is that simple. What matters is choosing the right type and enjoying it in the right amount. That's why plain Greek yogurt can be a smart option for many people. Unlike flavored yogurts that often contain large amounts of added sugar, plain Greek yogurt provides high-quality protein, along with naturally occurring probiotics, beneficial bacteria that help support a healthier digestive system. I like to think of probiotics as helpful neighbors moving into your community. The more friendly neighbors you have, the more balanced and organized the neighborhood becomes. Your digestive tract works in a similar way. When beneficial bacteria thrive, they help maintain a healthier gut environment, which may improve digestion and allow your body to make better use of the nutrients you eat every day. Choosing plain yogurt also gives you complete control over sweetness because you can add fresh fruit instead of relying on added sugars hidden inside many commercial products. fresh berries bring much more to this breakfast than natural sweetness. I often tell people to think of berries as tiny packages filled with protective compounds. They're naturally rich in antioxidants, dietary fiber, and plant compounds called polyphenols. These nutrients help protect cells from oxidative stress while also feeding many of the beneficial bacteria living in your digestive system. In other words, you're not only nourishing yourself, you're also nourishing the healthy microbes that quietly work for you every day. That extra fiber also slows digestion, helping you feel satisfied longer and providing steadier energy throughout the morning instead of the quick rise and fall that often follows sugary breakfasts. It's one more example of how simple whole foods can support several different systems in the body at the same time. Although chia seeds are tiny, I rarely underestimate what they can contribute to a balanced meal. They provide soluble fiber, a small amount of plant-based omega-3 fats, and an impressive ability to absorb water. One of my favorite ways to explain this is by comparing chia seeds to tiny sponges. When they absorb liquid, they expand and create a gentle gel-like texture. Inside your digestive system, soluble fiber behaves in a similar way. It helps move food through the digestive tract more smoothly, supports regular digestion, and provides another valuable food source for beneficial gut bacteria. The key is that a little goes a long way. You don't need several spoonfuls to receive the benefits. Even a modest amount can become part of a balanced breakfast without overpowering the rest of the meal. What I appreciate most about this breakfast is that every ingredient has a purpose, and together they create something far more valuable than any single food could provide on its own. The probiotics from the Greek yogurt help encourage a healthier balance of beneficial bacteria. The berries and chia seeds provide fiber that feeds those bacteria, while the protein from the yogurt helps keep you satisfied for longer. Better gut balance can contribute to smoother digestion, more consistent energy, and a healthier metabolic environment throughout the day. Rather than placing unnecessary emphasis on one miracle ingredient, this meal demonstrates how several simple foods can work together to support both your digestive system and, indirectly, your kidneys through healthier overall body function. Preparing this breakfast couldn't be much easier, which is one reason I recommend it so often. Start with about 3/4 to 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt and spoon it into a bowl. Add a generous handful of fresh blueberries, strawberries, or a mixture of both across the top. Sprinkle 1 tablespoon of chia seeds evenly over the fruit, then let everything sit for about 5 to 10 minutes so the chia seeds have time to absorb some of the moisture and soften slightly. If you enjoy a little extra texture, you can finish with a small sprinkle of a low-sugar granola, but keep the portion modest and always read the nutrition label to avoid products packed with added sugar or excess sodium. In just a few minutes, you have a breakfast that is colorful, satisfying, and remarkably simple. For most people, a practical serving includes about 3/4 to 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt, 1/2 cup of fresh berries, and approximately 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. These portions provide a balanced combination of protein, fiber, and healthy nutrients without making breakfast unnecessarily heavy. Remember, consistency is much more important than making every meal perfect. Building balanced habits, one breakfast at a time, is what creates meaningful progress over the long term. I'd love to hear how you would prepare this meal in your own kitchen, so leave a comment below saying, gut-friendly breakfast, if you're ready to give it a try. Lunch introduces a warm, comforting meal that nourishes both your digestive system and your kidneys in a completely different way. 2. A comforting bowl that feeds your gut while lightening your kidneys' workload. One lesson I always share with people trying to build a kidney-friendly eating routine is that how a meal is prepared can be just as important as the ingredients themselves. That's one reason I often recommend homemade soup instead of canned soup. Most canned soups are known for their high sodium content, but that's only part of the story. Many also contain preservatives, flavor enhancers, and long ingredient lists that add unnecessary complexity to an otherwise simple meal. When you make soup at home, you're in complete control. You decide how much seasoning to use, which vegetables to include, and what kind of protein goes into the pot. I like to think of homemade soup as starting with a clean canvas. Every ingredient has a purpose, and nothing is added simply to extend shelf life or intensify flavor. That simplicity can make a meaningful difference when you're trying to build healthier eating habits that support your body over the long term. Another misconception I hear quite often is that anyone trying to protect their kidneys should completely eliminate red meat forever. I don't believe nutrition has to be that extreme. The real goal is learning how to choose the right type and the right frequency. Lean cuts of beef can still fit into a balanced meal plan when they're enjoyed occasionally and prepared simply. Choosing lean beef means you're getting high-quality protein while limiting excess saturated fat that is commonly found in fattier cuts. Portion size also matters. Instead of making meat the largest part of your meal, think of it as one member of the team, working alongside vegetables and whole grains rather than dominating the plate. That balanced approach is much easier to maintain and far more realistic for everyday life. If there is one grain I wish more people would discover, it would be barley. Although it doesn't receive as much attention as oats or brown rice, barley provides an impressive amount of soluble fiber, including a special type called beta-glucan. This fiber helps slow digestion, creating steadier energy after a meal, while also serving as nourishment for beneficial gut bacteria. One comparison I enjoy using is to imagine barley as a slow-release battery. A regular battery may deliver a quick burst of energy and run out rapidly, but a slow-release battery keeps providing steady power over a much longer period. Barley works in a similar way. Instead of causing rapid changes in digestion, it releases energy more gradually while continuously feeding the healthy bacteria that support your digestive system. That combination makes it an excellent addition to today's soup. The vegetables in this soup deserve just as much attention as the protein. Carrots, celery, and cabbage each contribute something different to the meal while working together beautifully. Carrots add natural sweetness, vibrant color, antioxidants, and important micronutrients. Celery provides freshness and texture without making the soup heavy, while cabbage contributes valuable fiber that supports digestion and helps nourish beneficial gut bacteria. I often encourage people to think of colorful vegetables as members of an orchestra. Each instrument produces a different sound, but together they create something much richer than any one instrument could achieve alone. In the same way, combining several vegetables gives your body a wider variety of nutrients than relying on just one. What makes this lunch especially valuable is the way every ingredient works together toward a common goal. The fiber from barley and vegetables becomes food for beneficial bacteria living in your digestive system. As those bacteria break down certain types of fiber, they naturally produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids. These compounds help support the health of the intestinal lining and contribute to a healthier digestive environment overall. A healthier gut environment allows your body to process nutrients more efficiently while supporting normal metabolism. Rather than asking your kidneys to do all the work alone, this meal helps strengthen another important system that quietly supports them every single day. Preparing this soup is surprisingly easy. Begin by cutting lean beef into small bite-sized pieces and lightly browning it in a pressure cooker or large pot with a small amount of olive oil. Add chopped carrots, celery, and cabbage, allowing the vegetables to cook for several minutes until they begin to soften. Stir in rinsed barley, then pour in low-sodium broth or water. Season with garlic, black pepper, bay leaves, parsley, and thyme instead of relying on large amounts of salt. If you're using a pressure cooker, cook for about 25 to 30 minutes until the barley becomes tender and the beef is easy to chew. If cooking on the stovetop, allow the soup to simmer gently for about 1 hour, stirring occasionally. The result is a warm, comforting meal that fills your kitchen with wonderful aromas while keeping the ingredient list refreshingly simple. One reason I enjoy meals like this is their flexibility. If lean beef isn't your favorite, you can easily substitute skinless chicken breast while following the same cooking method. If barley isn't available or doesn't fit your eating plan, a moderate portion of brown rice may also work for many people, depending on their individual nutritional needs. The important principle remains the same. Combine lean protein with fiber-rich whole foods and plenty of vegetables to create a satisfying meal that supports your digestive system as well as your kidneys. If you're enjoying this series and finding these practical meal ideas helpful, I'd truly appreciate your support by subscribing to the channel. It helps you stay connected as we continue building healthy habits together, one meal at a time. Dinner shows how a gentle cooking method can make lean meat easier to enjoy while keeping the meal light enough for the evening. 3. A gentle evening meal that helps your body recover from the inside out. One of the biggest misunderstandings I see is that people often place every type of pork into the same category. I always encourage them to look a little closer because not all pork products are created equal. Bacon, sausage, and ham are usually heavily processed, often contain large amounts of sodium, and frequently include preservatives that aren't ideal when you're trying to build a kidney-friendly eating pattern. Pork tenderloin is completely different. It's one of the leanest cuts of pork available, providing high-quality protein with much less saturated fat than many people expect. The goal isn't to eat large portions of pork every day, but to recognize that choosing a fresh, lean cut prepared simply is very different from relying on processed meats. Understanding that distinction gives you far more flexibility when planning balanced meals without feeling like entire food groups have been taken away. The cooking method you choose can influence a meal almost as much as the ingredients themselves. That's one reason I enjoy braising lean pork tenderloin. Unlike frying, which often requires more added fat and higher cooking temperatures, braising uses gentle, steady heat with a small amount of liquid. This slow cooking process helps the meat stay moist and tender while allowing the natural flavors to develop without depending on heavy sauces or excessive salt. I like to compare braising to slowly steeping a cup of tea. You don't rush the process because time allows the flavors to develop naturally. Braising works the same way. Instead of masking the food with rich sauces, it brings out the best qualities of the ingredients themselves. The result is a comforting dinner that feels satisfying without becoming unnecessarily heavy. The vegetables in this meal play a much bigger role than simply filling the plate. Cabbage provides dietary fiber, along with naturally occurring prebiotic compounds that help nourish the beneficial bacteria living in your digestive system. Carrots contribute additional fiber, vibrant color, antioxidants, and important vitamins that support overall health. Together, these vegetables create a balanced combination that supports digestion while adding natural sweetness and texture to the meal. I often tell people to picture these vegetables as a gardening team. One plant enriches the soil, while another attracts pollinators. Each has a different job, yet together they create a healthier garden. The digestive system works in much the same way. A variety of vegetables provides different nutrients that complement one another and help create a healthier environment inside your body. Dinner should leave you feeling comfortably satisfied rather than overly full. That's especially important later in the day when your body begins shifting its focus from activity toward rest and overnight repair. This meal provides lean protein to help maintain muscle, while vegetables contribute fiber that supports healthy digestion throughout the evening. Because the meal is balanced without being overly rich, it may feel easier on the stomach and help you avoid the heavy, sluggish feeling that often follows large or highly processed dinners. I always remind people that overnight recovery isn't about one magical food. It's about giving your body a calm, balanced meal that allows digestion, metabolism, and the many systems working behind the scenes, including your kidneys, to continue doing their jobs without unnecessary stress. Preparing this dinner is easier than many people expect. Begin by trimming any visible fat from the pork tenderloin, then season it with black pepper, garlic, thyme, rosemary, and a small squeeze of fresh lemon juice instead of relying on salty marinades. Lightly brown the pork in a large pot or Dutch oven with a small amount of olive oil for just a few minutes on each side. Once lightly browned, add sliced carrots and chopped cabbage around the meat along with a small amount of low-sodium broth or water. Cover the pot and allow everything to braise gently over low heat until the pork becomes tender and the vegetables are soft but still colorful. Once cooked, slice the pork into medallions and serve it alongside the vegetables, spooning a little of the flavorful cooking liquid over the top for extra moisture and taste. One of the easiest ways to keep this dinner gut-friendly and kidney-friendly is to let the natural flavors shine. Skip heavy gravy, creamy sauces, and bottled glazes that often contain hidden sodium, sugar, and unnecessary additives. Instead, finish the meal with freshly chopped parsley, thyme, rosemary, cracked black pepper, or another favorite herb. A squeeze of fresh lemon juice just before serving can brighten every flavor without adding extra salt, proving that simple seasonings are often all you need. Meals like this remind us that healthy cooking doesn't have to be bland. It simply asks us to let fresh ingredients take the spotlight. Before we finish day 6, let me share a few everyday habits that can quietly strengthen your gut and support your kidneys at the same time. Simple kitchen habits that help good gut bacteria thrive every day. One of the most important lessons I've learned over the years is that healthy gut bacteria don't need expensive supplements to thrive. They simply need to be fed consistently. That's why I encourage people to include fiber-rich whole foods in their meals every single day, instead of relying on occasional, healthy meals once or twice a week. Your beneficial gut bacteria are much like a garden. If you water the plants only once in a while, they struggle to grow, but when you care for them a little every day, they become stronger and more resilient over time. The same idea applies to your digestive system. Small, consistent choices usually matter much more than dramatic changes. Whenever yogurt is part of your meal plan, I almost always recommend choosing plain Greek yogurt instead of flavored varieties. Many fruit-flavored yogurts contain surprisingly large amounts of added sugar, and too much added sugar can work against the healthy eating habits you're trying to build. Starting with plain yogurt gives you complete control because you can always add fresh berries or other naturally sweet fruit yourself. I also encourage cooking at home whenever possible. Restaurant meals and many packaged foods often contain far more sodium, preservatives, and additives than most people realize. Preparing meals in your own kitchen allows you to choose fresh ingredients, season with herbs instead of excessive salt, and know exactly what goes into every bite. Over time, those simple decisions can make a meaningful difference. As you increase your fiber intake, remember that more isn't always better overnight. I always suggest adding fiber gradually. Giving your digestive system time to adjust can help reduce bloating or digestive discomfort while allowing your gut bacteria to adapt naturally. Just as importantly, don't forget to drink enough water. I like to compare fiber to a sponge. A dry sponge can't do its job very well, but when it absorbs water, it becomes much more effective. Fiber works in a similar way inside your digestive system, so staying well hydrated helps it perform the way it's meant to. Finally, don't fall into the habit of eating the same fruits and vegetables every day. Rotate your choices throughout the week by enjoying different berries, colorful vegetables, whole grains, and a variety of plant foods. Every color brings a different combination of nutrients, and every type of fiber helps nourish your gut in its own unique way. Diversity on your plate often leads to greater diversity in your gut microbiome, and that's exactly what we're trying to encourage. If you remember just one idea from today's meals, let it be this: fiber plus probiotics plus whole foods plus lean protein equals a healthier gut that can better support your kidneys. It's a simple formula, but one that can guide your food choices long after this series is over. If you're ready to finish this journey with me tomorrow, leave a comment below saying, "Ready for day 7. I always enjoy reading your comments, and they inspire others in our community to keep moving forward together. As we get ready for the final day of this journey, I'd like to leave you with one thought that many people overlook. If you've enjoyed today's video, I'd love for you to subscribe so you won't miss day 7, where we'll bring everything we've learned throughout this week together into one practical, sustainable approach you can continue long after this series ends. Before you go, tell me in the comments, which meal from day 6 would you try first, or what surprised you most about the connection between your gut and your kidneys? I can't wait to see you for our final day together as we turn these simple meals into a lifestyle that supports healthier kidneys and a healthier future. As we finish day 6, I want to leave you with one reassuring thought. You don't need to become an expert on gut bacteria before you can start taking better care of your health. In fact, some of the most meaningful changes are also the simplest ones. Adding a little more fiber to your meals, choosing fresh foods more often, and gradually replacing processed foods with wholesome ingredients may not seem dramatic from one day to the next, but those small decisions are quietly improving your body from the inside out. You're not only supporting your digestive system, you may also be creating a healthier environment for your kidneys, your energy levels, and your overall well-being. One message I hope stays with you long after today's video is this: healthy kidneys never work alone. They depend on the heart, the blood vessels, the digestive system, and countless other processes happening inside your body every minute. When you nourish your gut with balanced meals, whole foods, beneficial fiber, and consistent daily habits, you're helping all of those systems work together instead of asking your kidneys to carry the burden by themselves. I don't want you to leave this series believing you need a perfect meal plan to be successful. What I hope you'll remember is that understanding the principles behind healthy eating is far more valuable than memorizing a handful of recipes. Once you understand why foods work together, grocery shopping becomes less confusing, meal preparation feels less stressful, and healthy choices begin to feel natural rather than restrictive. That's how lasting habits are built, one simple meal, one practical decision, and one day at a time.